This is Mehreen Mannan and you're watching Suno News. The biggest story unfolding right now is Pakistan engaging in high-stakes diplomacy to prevent what many fear could spiral into a third world war. With Asim Munir in Tehran and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif actively engaging leaders across the Middle East, Islamabad has launched a coordinated effort to bridge the widening gap between opposing sides. Reports further suggest that Field Marshal Asim Munir may travel to the United States immediately after his engagements in Iran, signaling the speed and seriousness of this diplomatic push. Yet, even while operating at this level of engagement, Pakistan is making a far more difficult choice, refusing to align with any one camp. Here lies the uncomfortable truth most analyses miss. In a conflict where every major player carries baggage, rivalries, and rigid alliances, Pakistan stands almost uniquely positioned. No direct enemy among the key stakeholders, open lines of communication with all, and perhaps most importantly, the willingness to use that position with precision. But this positioning comes with risk. If Pakistan leans towards Saudi-US bloc, the rewards are immediate. Financial relief, deferred oil payments, and smoother negotiations with global financial institutions. A short-term economic cushion the country undeniably needs. The cost, however, could be severe. Instability along its 900-kilometer western border with Iran. A potential asymmetric response, fueling unrest and leveraging proxies. Now consider the alternative. A tilt towards Iran offers its own advantages. Stronger border coordination and possible energy concessions. But economically, it is a cliff edge. Strained ties with Saudi Arabia, the risk of Gulf states expelling Pakistani workers, and billions in remittances under threat. Add to that the looming shadow of US sanctions, and the global economic system begins to close its doors. So Pakistan does something far more difficult than choosing a side. It chooses balance. And balance in geopolitics is not neutrality. It is strategy under pressure. Now compare this with India. New Delhi has leaned more decisively toward the US-Israeli axis. Yet, despite that alignment, its diplomatic leverage in this specific crisis remains limited. Pakistan, meanwhile, has done something far more subtle and arguably more effective. It has become the conversation. While condemning strikes publicly, Islamabad has positioned itself as Washington's preferred backchannel to Tehran, a quiet conduit, a translator of intentions, a manager of escalation. The contrast is telling. Where Pakistan appears agile, opportunistic, and adaptive, India's posture in this moment seems more constrained. Even the rhetoric reflects it. When India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar pushed back against criticism by saying, "India is not a Dalal nation," the crude remark carried unintended undertones, sounding less like strategic clarity and more like defensive frustration. Because in today's geopolitical theater, influence is not about declarations. It is about access. And Pakistan has access. But what truly transformed Islamabad into a central player was not just geography, it was speed. Within days of the first US-Israeli strike, Pakistan moved decisively. It signaled clearly and confidently that it could talk to everyone. Washington, Tehran, Riyadh, Doha. Pakistan was ready to help prevent a wider regional war. And that message landed. Washington, cautious about direct engagement with Tehran, began leaning on Islamabad. Messages were passed, signals interpreted. This is where experience matters. Pakistan's diplomats are not new to crisis bargaining. They understand ambiguity, timing, and leverage. And in this moment, they did not hesitate. The world noticed. From Antonio Guterres to Ursula von der Leyen, from Jane Marriott to Friedrich Merz, voices across continent acknowledged Pakistan's role. Support and recognition also echoed from governments spanning Saudi Arabia, Turkey, China, Ukraine, and Japan. That kind of alignment is not accidental. It is earned through timing, restraint, and calculated engagement. And at the center of this effort, leadership. Field Marshal Asim Munir, alongside Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, has played a critical role in shaping this moment. This was not loud diplomacy. It wasn't performative. It was quite high-stakes, 24-hour back-channel engagement, relaying messages, reducing misunderstandings, preventing escalation before it spiraled. The kind of diplomacy that does not make headlines immediately, but changes outcomes. Pakistan is no longer just reacting to regional chips. It is shaping them carefully, deliberately, and with an awareness that in a world increasingly defined by fragmentation, the ability to talk to everyone is power. Because the future of global politics may not belong to those who take sides the fastest, but to those who understand when not to. And perhaps in that restraint, there is an echo of a much older principle. One that speaks not of dominance, but of responsibility. As it is said in Quran, and if two groups among the believers fall into fighting, then make peace between them. Whether seen as faith or as philosophy, the message is enduring. Those who have the ability to prevent conflict carry the responsibility to do so with balance, with justice, and with resolve. And right now, Pakistan is making a compelling case that it intends to be exactly that kind of power. A stabilizer, a balancer, and perhaps a quiet architect of what comes next. This is Mehreen. Keep watching Suno News. Thank you.